you're scared of your tax situation and you only made $3,000 last year. And you're so terrified and fucking nervous about your tax, you think you're gonna attract $1 million? You're actually gonna reject $1 million because it's gonna take your stress level up 3,033%. Because you're already fucked up at $3,000 a year. So how you prepare for $1 million is you say, you know, I actually have a track here, I have a purpose, I have a meaning for this money, I have a vision for this money. I know what to do with this money, I know the phase I'm in on the track that I'm on. And then, Aaron, we're kind of talking about how everything, pretty much everything we want has preconditions that are required. And until those preconditions are met, you don't get what you think you want. So the $1 million, you're gonna internally sabotage that because you know you can't take it. You want the new car, you're driving around in a piece of shit and treating it like a piece of shit, and the tires are flat and this and that, and the thing, and there's a crack and it's a mess. You know you're gonna treat your Beamer the same fucking way. You know it, so you're not even gonna bother. Most of the $1 million day was all started by baby boomers. And the recurring thing with all the baby boomers was, I always thought that when I made it big, then I'd get my life in order. Then I'd actually change all the light bulbs. Then I'd clean out that closet. Like, what the fuck does making money have to do with that? Nothing. And so what's funny is they think like, when I make it, then I'm gonna get my life in order. That's always the thinking. And I think the challenge that I want to throw out there for you guys is that I want you, the peace and the level of procrastinating on like, I'll be happy when this happens. We want to hack to the getting to the feeling that you're searching for as fast as we can and create those conditions so that all of a sudden you don't make money a false image, a false god. Because it's really deeply, if you're procrastinating on feelings, waiting until money shows up, you are gonna be so fooled. You're gonna just hate, you're actually gonna resent money. A lot of people that they finally get to the money, they actually sabotage out of it because they think it bewitched them. Well, it didn't bewitch them. It is what it is. It's neutral. It has no, money's just a neutral energy movement. There's nothing there. But if you start delaying these emotions, like I'll have self-image, you know, like some of you think like, well, once I make $10,000 a month, then I'll walk with a little swag. You might actually walk with a little more swag. I'm not saying you're not going to when you make more money. You actually probably will, but it will really help if you can start walking with a little sense of, you know, I don't require that money things for me to start moving into the value that I have to the world and the potential that I have.
Wow.
See what I'm saying?
Yep. Yes.
Feeling me on that? So with Limitless, my point, and I've said this many times, is being around the industry, and Aaron, maybe you can back me up on some of this, is we have lots of, you know, people like us at the young age, hungry, thinking $10,000 a month. I get $10,000 a month, $10,000 a month, and my life, I take this big sigh and I'm good, right? But what I've seen, especially with the young people, $10,000 a month, they are as paycheck to paycheck as they were when they were working at Applebee's.
Wow.
They're no less paycheck to paycheck. Tyler has the story he shared. You know, his last month, and he earned $77,000 or $6,500 or something. You know, and he had absolutely no money. Currently now, as embodying Limitless, making significantly less than that. He has thousands in savings. He has an investment account started. He has some precious metals, and he's happier. So I don't want any of you to think that $10,000. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, so I don't hear what I'm not saying on this one. This isn't a don't go get money. Is like create it, attract it, deserve it, and serve your way into it. But in Limitless, we want you. I know for sure that a life with some thinking at $5,000 a month will get you in a better shape than when you go into like some MLM hardcore mode. You're making $10,000 a month, but now all of a sudden Now you're 70 grand in debt, where before you were just, it was a little bit of debt, but now all of a sudden you got real debt, and you don't have any more savings. I mean, Aaron, have you seen people that move into wealth maybe a little faster, and but their life, they're actually qualitative life, aside from a little bit of clothes and maybe a better car and some restaurants, like net worth style, stress levels, debt levels get higher.
Yeah.
This is almost normal. This is almost like 75%.
Really?
I mean,
Wow.
so we just don't want, I just don't want to trick you. Like, that's why we want you to get the precondition for an abundance of wealth to drop,
Yeah.
and you to go, this isn't going to freak me out. I'm ready for this thing. Right? I'm ready for this deal. So futuristic fortunes, like as that thing unveils, we're going to go over a lot of strategies, basically a lot of mistakes, just the biggie mistakes that people make, like the super bigs. And I think it's going to be pretty cool.
It's a genuineness,
Yeah.
kind of the conversation. You were like feeling that, like an authenticity. I think it's what I'm feeling is like a real, what I think Mark, what I'm getting from what you're sharing is that learning how to work with pride, because there's a pride thing in being successful. Wouldn't we agree? Making our parents proud, our friends proud, ourselves proud. We're all here on some level for probably all of those, or at least one of those, right? And there's a pride that has a lot of emptiness in it, and just it's kind of alone, and it's one that I've experienced some of that. I've met a lot of people. I know Mark has too. And there's a pride that is a healthy pride, and it's one that limitless. Really, what I can feel of it, of what's being created here, is a healthy pride. And it's one that you pride in the things you do on a daily basis, pride in your friends here, in the community you're creating, and then that healthy pride will bring all the other abundance after it. So, and that's a sustainable, more fulfilling success. And the money will be the same. It'll be there in both. It's just one's got substance and the other one is fleeting and scary. And
Aaron, have you read any DeMartini? I just found out about him. He's really wild, like buddies with Donald, he's Trump, and hangs with billionaires and stuff like that. And he was saying, like, the billionaire model, we were just talking about this. 30, like Bill Gates, I think his model was 33% cash. So you got his house, you got his bills, you got his money. Now imagine now we're in surplus money, okay? 33% is cash.
okay.
This is sitting in like 1, 2, 3%, like super fast liquid money market, but like I can pull this deal out cash, okay? And then 33% more is in like Johnson & Johnson, Coke, General Electric, just conservative, steady. These guys run the world, and if inflation goes up, the cost of toothpaste goes up, Johnson & Johnson sells toothpaste, the stock will cover the inflation. This is my hedge against inflation, is safe. Companies that sell all the world their shit, okay? So that's another 33%. And then 33% is kind of speculative risk. This is startup shit that, I don't know, maybe this thing works, but it probably doesn't, but I might fund it because that guy might be something someday. You know what I mean? Like Ross Perot was Steve Jobs' first real backer, if I believe.
Really?
If I'm correct on it. And he basically just said, I don't know anything about it. But I know that Steve Jobs is a big deal. So I'm going to invest in him. I don't even know how much Ross, if he won on that or not, how much, I have no idea. So what that means for you guys, I think a big win is to learn to put away some cash.
Right.
Just cash. And these are a lot of mistakes I've made, my friends made. Put away some cash. And then like the whole Roth IRA thing that we're moving into for $100 a month. That you don't check that account every month. You check it. I'll go a year and not look at my Roth. It's a diversified, moderately aggressive blue chip stock play. So these are companies that are pretty established. It's spread across all the risk companies. It's managed by guys that live and breathe on this thing. And I check it. I mean, Shannon, how often do you check your Edward accounts?
Because when the tax guy asked me for.
Yeah, so once a year. Well, it really, it's not something, it's not our, but we only do 100, or maybe it's $300. It's nothing.
No, it's 50. We each only do 50.
Are you shitting me? We should at least do 100.
We started when we were like 21, so.
We started when we were 21 and we had like 20, 30, 40 grand by the time, like, we didn't even know it. No shit, we didn't know we had like 20, 30 grand. Like, holy shit, how did that even happen? That was our little $50 auto ship when we started in our 20s.
It was also a requirement before Mark would marry me.
That's true.
It's fucking cool.
Shannon was like Shannon was a super spender. And I'm like, you know what, until you start a Roth IRA, I'm not going to marry you. Just, I'm not doing it.
That's smart ass.
She had to do some reading too. But,
True story.
this is a true story. So, what's going to be a little funny thing is that when you got to get a Roth IRA and start a safe, conservative, diversified investment for $100 a month. Some of you are going to go, oh my God, $100 a month. That's all bullshit. Like as a 20-year-old in America, you can't generate $100 a month. Fuck you. Like we don't buy. I'm just letting you know, as a culture, we don't buy that. Like that story doesn't get bought here. It's not. We don't buy that story. That story, I don't buy it. Not in America, unless you're a quadriplegic, blind, and deaf. Even then, there's got to be a way to earn $100. But so I don't buy that story. So the other story is like, you know, let's say Limitless is too much money at $100. That story, I don't buy that. That one's not for sale here, or it's not purchased. It doesn't translate into. You see what I'm saying? But anyway, some of you, that $100 investment, and it's not a big deal, but in 30, 40 years, you literally have probably, you do 100 and it does it just keeps pace of history over the last like 50, 70 years. I mean, you'll have like close to hundreds of thousands of dollars. Hundreds of thousands. And the difference in putting in $100 this month versus $100 when there are people my age that have not invested a dime yet.
Wow.
36, 37, they haven't even considered it. 33% cash, 33% real businesses that are established that run the market.
Right.
Johnson & Johnson, General Electric, like these guys run the world. 33% speculative. This is after all your fucking expenses are paid and all this shit.